Hey, what is going on, Bridge the Blue crew? Hope you guys have had an amazing week. We've got some really good stuff.
You just crack me up every time.
Dude, I'm fired up. How can you not be fired up? Am I right?
Yeah, man, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, and so today's going to be a little bit different. And so usually whenever we go live here in the group, we're all about rah-rah. We're all about celebrating. We're all about pumping people up, firing them up because we stay fired up. But today we want to give you we're gonna do a little bit of that firing up because we're just fired up. It kind of seeps from us because of everything that we have going on. But today we also want to give you a little bit of something of substance as well. And so, but before,
and today's not going to be that long, really. We're going to kind of keep it short. It's Friday. We did want to touch base with you though, and just kind of give you some little bit of input and so forth, and a little bit of direction on where we're going and so on. So
yeah, absolutely. And so, what I definitely wanted to talk about here today really quick, and I want to just immediately kind of move into this, and that is, how to be more influential in your conversations, whenever you're talking to people about law enforcement, right? Because I think that too many times we have conversations with people, and either we feel like our back is either backed up against the wall, or maybe our mind just kind of goes blank, right? We have things that we want to say, but all of a sudden the facts and the statistics and everything else, or maybe we don't know the facts and the statistics. And so we kind of hit this wall whenever we're talking to somebody, and they just totally annihilate us in these conversations.
Yeah, and it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging because, we try to stay off the political, agenda.
And it's so hard.
And it's so hard because we're dealing with a political issue.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a political issue, whether we want to admit it or not. Much of what we're dealing with anyway is a political issue. So when we're having those conversations, it is difficult to stay off of that topic.
Oh, yeah.
But address it at the same time. So.
Well, and I tell you what, there is a way that it can be done. Mm-hmm. Okay, there is a way that it can be done, and that's what we want to talk about here today. And so the title of today's live is how to be more influential in your conversations about law enforcement without feeling like you're catering to the narrative. Because I know that I've had situations in the past, now believe it or not, in this group,
You've got to be kidding.
I've been called a wolf in sheep's clothing because I try to remain objective and unbiased.
No, wait, why?
Why? Why do I try to remain objective and unbiased?
Yeah, because I think it's important, and we can touch on that again.
Yeah.
We're about the foundation.
Yeah, because we're all about trying to build bridges. We're all about that's why we're called Bridge the Blue, okay? And so if we're going to build a bridge, okay, we can't build a bridge whenever we use rhetoric and whenever we use language that is the same rhetoric and the same language that burns bridges down. And so just to continue on, I've been called a wolf in sheep's clothing in this group. And outside of this group, I've been called racist. Now, typically, I'm called racist because I state facts. And whenever I state facts, we've said this on numerous occasions that it's one thing to speak the truth. It's another thing to speak the truth in love. And so if you speak the truth outside of love, it can be just as damaging as a lie. And I think that's important as we're kind of continuing on kind of in today's topic. But the reason why I'm called a wolf in sheep's clothing is because I remain objective, and sometimes I do play a devil's advocate. I've been known for that. And it's only because I'm trying to open up dialogue. I'm trying to get people to see the other side because I fully believe that we're a product of our environments. Mm-hmm. We are a product of our environment. See, I didn't get to choose what family I was born into. Did you?
Nope.
I didn't get to choose what family I was. So what I learned about God, what I learned about money, what I learned about success, what I learned about law enforcement, what I learned about politics, what I learned about all of these things, it was starting to be programmed into me from the time that I was a little baby.
Were you ever a little baby?
I was a big baby.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to go off topic there.
But here's the thing, and I want you to think about this. So your mind is like a file cabinet, okay? You cannot pull a file out of that file cabinet if that file does not exist. And from the time that we were little babies, our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, our friends, the culture, society, television, radio, media began depositing files into the file cabinets of our minds. And later on in life, whenever we need a particular file, like on success, or like on money, or like on law enforcement, if we can't pull that file out, if that file doesn't exist. And likewise, whenever you're having conversations with people, whenever we're having conversations with people, if we don't recognize that they have different files in the file cabinet of their mind, we're going to try to pull files out or try to incorporate files that they don't understand because they were never given those files, right? So that's what we're up against. And the way that you approach these people is either going to raise resistance or they're going to be more receptive to what you have to say. And how important would you say, especially, okay, so being a pastor, for example, how important is the receptive aspect of things, and not only as a pastor, but also as a business owner, and also as a Leo yourself, how important do you believe it is to speak in such a manner that they're receptive to what you have to say versus, putting up a wall and raising resistance? How important is that to you in your experience?
Yeah. Well, I believe God meets us where we are.
Yeah.
And he is who he needs to be to us to meet us where we are in our situations, And I know it's a hugely deep conversation there that I just opened up, I believe we have to do that same thing to the people that we're engaging with. We've got to meet them on a foundational level somewhere.
Come on,
and agree to disagree sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying, dude. Sometimes I just want to get up and I want to go to the wall and bang my head against the wall. Because inside I'm going, no, this is the truth. This is the way it is. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes I don't know it all either.
Yeah.
But there are things that I do know that are factual, that are core, that are, unchangeable.
Yeah.
And yes, I am going to stand solid on those things, and I'm not going to waver left or right on them. Not going to.
Come on.
But it doesn't mean that we can't meet someone on the foundation still and talk those things out.
And it doesn't mean you have to be a jerk.
No.
It doesn't mean you have to be an a-hole.
No.
Right?
That doesn't help anything.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't help anything at all.
And it
only creates more roadblocks.
And it doesn't help to get defensive either.
No. I mean, honestly, for most people anyway, I'm not saying this is every situation, those that are quick to get offensive or offended and so forth, there's usually other core issues involved.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. But we've got to be slow to anger. We've got to be slow to get offended. We've got to be slow at that and open up the dialogue for talk, because if we can't communicate with one another, nothing's going to change.
Absolutely.
Nothing's going to change. So we've got to create that bridge.
And even Jesus, because a lot of people say, well, look at Jesus. He was angry, but he was still love at the same time. He went into the temple and, he was flipping tables and he was getting, upset and whipping people and all that stuff. And, one of the things I always like to talk about is that Jesus was he was 100% human. He was 100% God, and he was special. And he was able to get angry and walk in love at the same time. So it is possible. Yep. It is possible. But for us, just regular human beings, it is a bad idea to try to justify it, because in my experience, it's hard for us to get angry and then that anger not turn into offense. And I will tell you that it is absolutely 100% impossible to walk in love and offense at the same time. So what we want to do is we want to give you 3 things today. Try to give you 3 things, depending on time. The 3 things that you can start to implement immediately in your conversations. And the first thing is just to realize that your words have power. The Bible actually says that your words, that the power of life and death is in the tongue. Every time you open your mouth, you're either speaking life or you're speaking death. Yeah. That includes in the conversations we're having about our Leos and about law enforcement, anything political, even anything related to God.
So agree with that.
And so we have to be mindful of our words. And so let me give you an example. If I was to walk up to, well, actually, let's not talk about me for a second. Let's talk about you.
Ouch.
let's say that you were to walk up to your spouse or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, and you said, babe, you got a face that could stop a clock. Yep. Those words, very hurtful. But listen to this shift in words. Babe, when I look into your eyes, time stands still. Someone's getting lucky tonight. So here's the thing. I'm saying the exact same thing. I'm using a different choice of words. Okay, so you need to be mindful about the words that are coming out of your mouth. And that's all of us. Okay, whenever we say things like, man, you're some kind of special, ain't you? That's going to raise resistance. Whenever you say something like, you're just ignorant, you're ignorant, that's a trigger word. People don't like to be called ignorant. So you don't call people ignorant, okay? We need to exercise empathy, and that's actually number 2. You need to exercise empathy. In order to have empathy, that means to put yourself in somebody else's place, to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Okay, there is so many times where we think that because we're right and the lens through which we see the world shows us one thing, that other people don't have lenses that see something different. And I can tell you that the person that grew up and was abused as a kid, that was abused verbally, physically, sexually assaulted, any of those things, they see the world through a different lens. Yeah. And empathy is whenever you can step outside of yourself. You take off your lens for a moment and you try as hard as you can. You slip on their lens and try to see the world through their eyes. You know, one of the things, Troy, I think is super important is somebody that has dealt with depression is before I ever dealt with depression, I'm not proud of this, but I used to look down on people that were depressed. I'm like, how could you be depressed? Right. Life is too short, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't until I got depressed that all of a sudden I understood.
You've seen things a little different.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so is it possible whenever you're having these conversations, is it possible that maybe the person you're talking to has different experiences than you? Maybe they've experienced something related to law enforcement. Maybe they haven't experienced anything at all other than just, again, going back to the file cabinet, maybe the only files that have been deposited into the file cabinets of their mind have been victim-based files instead of victor-based files. And so at that point, Blue Crew, we have a decision to make. We can look at all the dirt. We can look at all of the junk. We can look at all of the stuff that was deposited in them that's not going to bring a fruitful harvest. We can begin to plant new seeds, and we can begin to see the gold in each and every person. Mm-hmm. You ever seen the show Gold Rush?
It sounds familiar.
Man, Donna and I used to love that show, and I never knew how much dirt miners had to go through just to get a few ounces of gold dust. My question to you, Blue Crew, is are you willing to look at the opposition? Are you willing to look at someone that has a different perspective than you? And instead of looking at all the dirt, are you willing to mine through all of that to get to those few ounces of gold? Okay, you can only do that whenever you exercise empathy. And then the third thing is you got to learn to speak life. You got to learn to speak life. Your words and the spirit behind your words are as equally as important as the words themselves, like the first thing we talked about. The manner in which you say something. And here's one thing I want to touch on really quick. In this community, in text, because a lot of times we're leaving comments in text. And I know a lot of you are having conversations outside of this group with people. Did you know that text is the worst form of communication? The absolute lowest level of communication. Troy actually does something that I absolutely love, and I'll never forget. This was right before our last nationwide event. You actually had somebody leave a comment, and you replied. Now, a lot of people would have gotten triggered and would have gone off on that person, but you said, "Hey, buddy, thanks for commenting. Love you. Listen, I'd love to dialogue with you. Would you mind giving me a call? Maybe you can come by the office." because Troy understands that things can get, let me give you a funny example, and it may be funny to some, maybe not funny to others. If I was to send somebody a text message that just said, screw you, and that's it, it might mean one thing, right? But if I sent another text that said, screw you with a wink, wink, it means something completely different.
Yep.
So that's how easy it is for talking through text and through Messenger.
Yeah.
So whenever you think that getting into a debate online with somebody, we got several keyboard warriors back there thinking they're actually doing something. You're not really doing anything. You're actually making the problem worse, and you're exacerbating the problem. So I want to encourage you, okay? You're probably going to have to step back a little bit in order to become more influential and to really take stock in how you're handling some of these things. I know that we've all had to do that, and there's still times, guilty as charged, there's still times that I have to even step back and it's funny because there were some situations that happened this week that as I'm communicating, it took me about 2 hours to write up a message because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be speaking life and speaking constructively instead of destructively. And with that, there's one other thing I want to touch on before we move on to the next topic, and that is how to make sure that your posts in this group are actually going through and getting approved. Because we've gotten several messages here lately where they're like, hey, how come my post wasn't approved? So we have two choices that we can make, Blue Crew. We can either look so long and hard at the problem that we all just get apathetic and pissed off or whatever. But whenever we're looking at the problem, we're complaining about what's going on, we're not putting any energy towards finding solutions. So as a community, we made the decision whenever we first started Bridge the Blue almost 3 years ago that we want to be a nonprofit, and we are a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit. We want to be an organization that looks for solutions and uses all of our time, energy, and resources to find solutions, not to look at the problem. And so what our moderator team has been trained to do is to look at the post and ask, how is this going to make people feel? Is it complaining about the problem? Is it political? Because again, we're trying to remain objective because we're all about building bridges. Okay? So we're looking at all of these things, and the feeling we want people to have whenever they come into our community is one of hope, not hopelessness. And especially all of the Leos that we have in our group, we want this to be a safe place where they can come and not be reminded of the crap they're dealing with out on the streets. They're dealing with that enough. But we want them to be able to come in here and to see nothing but the positive stuff and see that we're working towards solutions. And so that's all that I have to say about that. Thanks for giving me that time, and I hope that was valuable and that was helpful to you. We will be putting together some more in-depth stuff, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and cut that part off. But we have some other things to talk about.
Yeah, I just want to throw in there real quick. Right now is a time for us to build those bridges.
Oh yeah.
I think that we're in a battle. We're in a battle no matter how you look at it, and we've got to take this country back. And by the way, I am so encouraged by all the different groups that are picking up the Silent No More and Bridge the Blue themes, across the country. So many groups, so many individuals stepping up to the plate, and I mean, I'm just blown away every day with some of the stories and the messages and stuff that we're getting. It is so good, and I want to thank each and every one of you for helping make that possible.
It's amazing.
So, because it is a team effort. It's us locking arms, as I've said over and over and over again. It's us locking arms and standing together. It's being seen and it's making a difference. Yep. Okay, but I always wanted to say there's a time for a battle, and we're in a battle now, and there's different ways to fight a battle. And right now, it is one of the most crucial things in this battle, I believe, is to, again, get everybody locking arms together on the basis of the foundational principles that we all believe in, and taking back ground by uniting as one. and raising our voices, raising the awareness, etc. Because that's the first step. There's going to be a time, is my guess. There's going to be a time where we need to be a lot more vocal in some of the ways and some of the things that we believe in. And I believe those times are coming. But right now, we have to create the ground that we can stand on first.
Come on.
And that's that foundational principles.
That's good.
So, I just want to encourage everybody, keep building the foundation, keep locking arms with each and everybody, keep inviting people to the group. Keep inviting them to the bridgetoblue.com website. Keep inviting them to your rallies, and keep inviting them to your events. We've got events and stuff that are happening in several different places, some that we haven't told anybody about that we're working on with others. We got rallies that are happening. Got one coming up this Sunday in somewhere in the Northwest. I can't remember, but right off the bat, but we'll get that information out to you. But it's cool to see the American people rising up.
Yeah,
and I'm just super excited about that. So, just before we go, like he said, we want to again just expand on a couple of things that we've already told you. Maybe even throw one more in that we haven't told anybody. Well, very few anyway. But we're only a week or two, not even 2 weeks, week and a half away from August 23rd.
Yeah,
something like that. So maybe 2 weeks, but I don't think so. It's right around the corner, and there's a lot of stuff planned for the Lake of the Ozarks event. I mean, folks, this is not a small event.
No.
There are literally people coming from all over the country meeting up in the Lake of the Ozarks at the Hillbilly Fairgrounds.
It is honestly, it's been a little bit overwhelming, and then to get the bands, the quality of bands that we've gotten. Like, these are bands that have had #1 hits. One of them is a new band. The other one's been around for about 15 years. Yeah. #1 hits on top 40 radio. We're talking about some big names.
Yep.
So it's been a little bit overwhelming.
There's any of you that have helped sponsor and put on events and stuff. I mean, you understand what we're talking about when we talk about the details that go into it, because we don't want to just have events. We want to have events that are amazing.
Yes.
That just blow you out of the water, as far as the quality and what was able to be accomplished through the event.
We've got to be excellent.
Yeah. So we've got Trapped. We've got Pryor and Lee coming from Nashville.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. We got some great speakers. There's just some absolutely amazing people that are going to be speaking in Lake of the Ozarks on the 23rd. If you don't come out for any other reason, I'd encourage you to come out and listen to what these folks have to say, because they are incredible. There's going to be fireworks, and honestly, right now, from what they can tell and from what people are saying already, they're probably looking at a crowd of over 20,000 people already.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out parking to expand that, and so forth. So I mean, that's a lot of people.
And there's some logistical stuff that we have to take care of on our end, but and really quickly, we are asking everyone to get tickets. The tickets are free. Okay, and you can go to bridgetoblue.com/Ozarks to get your tickets. That's bridgetoblue.com/Ozarks. Get your free ticket, and that way we can just keep track of who all is planning to come. But we already know that there's probably 3/4 of the people that are going to be there aren't going to have a ticket. That's a little bit of anxiety right there.
Yeah, it helps with planning. So and it helps you keep up to date on the information.
Yeah.
So as we send out emails and so forth. The other one, 9/11, is another huge one that we're working on. It's going to be at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds, just north of Houston, Texas. And our main entertainment there is Lee Greenwood himself.
Oh, man.
Again, wow, I'm just blown away. Blown away. He's so excited about coming. And
I don't know if there's anybody in the entertainment industry that is more patriotic than Lee Greenwood.
It'd be very difficult to beat. Very difficult. So, and there's other musicians and stuff that's going to be there. Some incredible speakers there as well. And there's some things that we're trying to put together that we just haven't really made announcements about on that one yet, because we're trying to make sure everything's accomplished first before we do announce that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an amazing fireworks show as well, and lots of activities and fun things. So we just encourage you to put it on your calendar and fly into Houston. Going to be an incredible event. So October 10th, it's coming up quickly. That is our next nationwide rally event. We are going to have one main rally in every state, and there are a couple of states, I believe they've got more than one rally because of the size of the states and so forth. But it's going to be incredible. The plan at this point is to finish having our stuff put together, because again, our goal is to help make things easier for you.
Yeah.
And we're doing everything we can to make that happen. So our goal right now is by midweek or so next week, we're going to have available to you each location, so you can begin to plan that, but also tools that you can use in inviting people, both making banners,
online and offline.
Yep. All kinds of good stuff for you. So that's going to be an amazing time. Just incredible. You know, the last time we did, people were all over the country in their own cities and stuff, but bringing all of those people to one location, is going to be amazing. And I know what some of them are thinking right now. They're thinking, well, what about COVID? What about the virus situation? Well, here's my take on it. We're going to do every precaution we can to make sure everybody is safe, and there'll be ability to have hand sanitizers and masks and all that available to people that want them. But I'm not going to go into my personal beliefs on the whole thing. But what I am going to say is we're meeting on the basis of safety, and we're putting every practice in hand that we can to make sure everybody stays safe, and we're able to move forward as one at the same time.
Absolutely. So, and we're trying to make this as easy as possible, and Troy brought that up. And let me just give you some insight. let me just give you some insight into how easy we're trying to make it. Okay. We can't even get people to stay on these videos for the 20 or 30 minutes that all you got to do is sit there and watch. And we can't even get people to do that. So that's how easy we're trying to make it for everybody else. It's really funny though, man. We have these Leos out there that put their lives on the line, and so many people can't even stick on these videos. So if you're still watching, you're amazing, and that says something about you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, but that's how easy we're trying to make stuff. We're trying to make things so easy that even the people that can't stay with us, no matter how entertaining we may try to be, or how much information we try to give you to empower you, that even they can take the information. So that's how easy we're trying to make it.
I think it's the glare off my head that gives them a headache. So, hey, I want to just for appetizer, I want to throw one more thing out there, and we're not gonna talk a lot about it. We're just basically gonna throw it out there.
But it's huge, like it's huge. Titanic proportions.
Oh, let's play on words.
Probably a bad play.
We've been working on something that is super cool, and it's just a lot of details, and there's a lot of planning going into it. But we want to do something, and I want you to picture this with me. There's a lot of LEOs out there that just need a break.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. The things that they're dealing with each and every day. I know firsthand what it is, and I'm telling you, it can take you over. It can take you out. And we don't have to go into the whole statistics of how many LEOs across this country are committing suicide every year.
Yeah.
Because of the pressure and the things in their head and the things they have to see every day and deal with.
It's a lot.
So there's a lot of them that need to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to see a few hundred of them go on a break. Okay? So what we have done is we have established an event called Bridge the Blue Cruise. Yeah. It is a cruise on a cruise ship going down through the Caribbean, or the Caribbeans. Folks, I am tired.
Well, hey, the movie was called Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think anybody said Pirates of the Caribbean. So.
There you go. So,
I guess it depends on if it's a movie or a vacation.
It's going to be an incredible boat ride, and so much of it tailored towards law enforcement officers across this country.
And I'm excited to meet them all.
Yeah, so we're going to be getting those details out to you and asking people to begin to find LEOs and help sponsor them onto this cruise for almost a week, going down through the Caribbean islands and so forth. It's just going to be absolutely... This has never been done before.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, never has anybody ever set aside an entire cruise, like this, just for law enforcement officers.
Did the idea spawn from me saying, "Hey, what's up, Bridge the Blue Crew?" And you're like, "Bridge the Blue Crew? Oh, cruise. Let's do a Bridge the Blue Cruise."
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but I can't say it did.
Oh, I just thought I would ask.
So yeah, we're gonna be asking people. We've actually put feelers out there already over the last month or so, and we've got a lot of people that are wanting to help support that. People that are actually saying, "Hey, how soon can we make this thing happen?" It's going to be going out in April. I can't tell you the exact dates yet. We're still working with the cruise line to firm that down, but because there's a couple of variables in there. But it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. And it's very, very well deserved.
Yep.
Very, very well deserved.
Yep. So, right on. Hey, I thought about something earlier when you were talking about the vials and so forth and how everybody sees things different, and we've talked about different lenses. I want to encourage you to watch a movie. It's a very interesting movie called Vantage Point. And it's about one situation that happened, but I can't remember. It was like 10 people or 8 people, whatever it is, that saw this event happen, but they all had a different story on how it happened. Because they've seen it from different points and different views and so forth. So it's a very interesting. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't.
It's a very interesting movie.
Put that on your list.
So a very good movie. But I wrote that down as you were talking, and just want to make sure and encourage everybody. Get on there and watch that movie. It'll kind of help show you the point of what we're talking about as far as the lenses in the file cabinet and so forth. So
awesome.
All right.
Is that it?
That's it for now.
Well, guys, thank you again for all of you that are still watching. If you've made it this far, that does say something about you, because we get it. Like time is short for everybody, and trust us whenever I say that we don't even have the time to be on here, but we make the time because that's how committed we are to this vision that we have to make America safe again and bridge the gap between law enforcement and communities. We're willing to do whatever it takes to empower. It doesn't matter if it's 10 of you or if it's 10,000 of you or if it's 100,000 of you or 1,000,000. We're going to show up each and every day, and we're going to get our butts to work, and we're going to do whatever needs to be done. And so, and just so that you guys know, the reason why all of this is possible is because of those of you that actually faithfully give. And so to those of you that do faithfully give, thank you, because your generosity is truly making a difference. And we never want to pressure anybody to give. All that we do is just ask that you would pray about it, talk to God, and ask Him what He would have you do, and then just be obedient to that. The amount doesn't matter. I want to encourage you, if maybe you don't have a lot of money, that's okay. Just start with what's in your hand. Just start with what you have. It could be $5, but a little bit of something definitely helps. And so for those of you that do help, thank you so very much. You guys are amazing, and we're fired up about the next few months, and I cannot wait to be able to sow back into our Leos and bless them with a cruise. That is so amazing.
It's going to be incredible.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump off of here. Be looking for us to get back to some kind of a regular schedule and going live here next week. We wanted to do that this week, but This event this month is just creeping up on us extremely quickly, and so we've had to nail some stuff down. But we're looking forward. Hope to see you at Lake of the Ozarks. We'll see you next week, Blue Crew. Love you guys.
All right.
God bless.